Thames Delta.
Yo, what's happening, people? We are Starz and Deeza, and we are urban music artists from the southeast.
Today's music workshop is brought to you by Thames Delta Radio, and we're going to give you a little insight into what we do and how to be a professional lyricist. Should we start off with a little bar?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, it's Starz and Deeza, yo, we rep it all day. So we're back, reloaded with bars the same way. No one can come between us, we don't care what they say. This ain't Burger King, you can't have it your way.
It's Starz and Deeza, man, we rip it all night. We back, reloaded with bars with big bite. We going next level, got the top spot in sight. And we never go down without a fight, nah.
So first off, we're going to give you an insight into the different types of microphones and break it down for them, yeah?
Now, as an MC, there are various different microphones that you will end up performing your lyrics on. When you're out performing, doing live events and things, we tend to use what you call a cardioid mic. So these two here are two different types of cardioid mic. You've got the wired mic here, and you've got the wireless mic there. With the wired mics, this particular mic is a Short SM58, and this is a very common mic that you'll find in any live performance venues, festivals, things like that. They're very good quality, hard wearing, great sound. And of course, as we said about it, it's got a cable. These tend to have all the same connections at the end, which is called an XLR connection. And it is a 3-pin plug, which will always be connected to one of these cables. This plugs straight into the mixer, and then that makes your sound come out to your crowd.
And here we have a wireless battery-powered mic. These are great. I think these are our preferred type of microphones because you get a lot more freedom to roam around the stage. You can really get into it. You can move from one side of the stage to the other, and you're not tied by the wire.
So these are the microphones you use when you're performing to live crowds and things like that. But when you're in the studio, you use a completely different microphone, and that's called a condenser mic, which you can see in front of us right here. Now, the main difference between the condenser mic and the cardioid mic is the condenser mic is directional. So you have to stand in quite a specific area and face the front of the microphone in order for your sound to come out clearly. Whereas with a cardioid microphone, you can hold it any which way. As long as you've got this bit pointing towards your mouth, it doesn't matter which way you're holding the mic, it will pick up your sound. So when you're in the studio and you're using this kind of microphone, you will get a much, much, much clearer sound than if you were to use a cardioid mic. You can use a cardioid mic in the studio. However, as I say, the sound is just not quite as crisp as when you use a condenser mic. Because the condenser mic is directional, you get a very specific space where you can put your sound, which means it picks up every single sound you make. That's why you'll always use this type of microphone in a studio over one of these, because you get a very, very clear and perfect sound.
Yeah, these microphones are very, very sensitive as well. Usually you have to have the whole room very quiet. You'll have acoustic foam around the walls, and you have to have the room very silent when using a condenser mic, because as I say, it will pick up every sound in the room. They're very, very sensitive, but they give the very clearest sound. So that's a condenser microphone. These are cardioid microphones, and that has covered the different type of microphones that you can use as a lyricist. Next up, we have mic control and different ways to hold the microphones.
As you may have seen when you watch live performances on TV or at concerts and things like that of your favourite singers and things like that, they hold the mic in a very specific way. So they will hold the mic like this. So you can see the whole top of the microphone, and you can see that clearly. So when you put your voice into that microphone, let's go this way. When you put your voice, project your voice into the microphone, it goes directly onto the top there and will pick up your whole sound. Quite often as rave performers, of course, we're working on very, very loud sound systems, and quite often with drum and bass music, it is very, very bass heavy. And so quite often you can be drowned out very easily if you're holding the microphone like this. So it's not common practice, and it's definitely not good practice, but quite often you may see an artist, a drum and bass artist or a grime artist or someone doing underground music hold a microphone like this. So that's when they cup it. Now, when you cup a microphone, as I say, in a rave, you may find that it makes you sound louder. However, what it actually does is give you feedback. So when you're talking into the microphone, when it's like this, the sound echoes back on itself. And actually, when you're recording like that, it creates a terrible sound. So this is bad practice. Don't do this.
It can make the sound very muffled when you're cupping it like this. It can give you feedback, as Starz says. So the correct way to hold the microphone is in the middle here, just like this. That's the correct way. And you should hold it just in front of your mouth. Sometimes you may see people holding it at the bottom like this. You may see people holding it very far away from their mouths. Obviously, as we've covered, you need to hold it just in front of your mouth and hold it in the middle, so you're not actually cupping the mesh around the top. So that is really the best way to hold a microphone, because you don't want to ruin your own sound that's coming out. If you ruin your own sound that is coming out your mouth, you're going to ruin your own performance. So the best way to hold the microphone is in the middle, so you get a nice clear sound, and hold the microphone just in front of your mouth.
It's also really important to use the microphone dependent on the level of your voice. So if you've got a loud part in your lyric or your song where you're really belting out your voice, you should always pull the microphone away from your mouth. Just pull it away slightly. It doesn't have to be over here, but the louder you go, the further away from your mouth the mic should be, in order to keep your levels correct. Otherwise, you'll end up with a really, really loud peak in your track or your song or your live performance. When you go high, if you keep the mic here, it'll be stupidly loud and it just won't quite sound right.
So up now we have for you stage presence, different ways to perform on stage in front of a crowd. You may well have seen sometimes that people perform differently when on stage, from amateurs to very experienced lyricists. There are actually quite a few different examples that we can give you of stage presence and stage craft. So Starz, should we give them some examples?
Sure, let's do this.
So, bad example, if you like, of stage presence is not moving very much and being very enclosed in yourself. You want to give an example of a lyric?
That's right, they call me Starz. Jump on the mic and spit the big bars. Jump on the mic and make them see stars and other MCs to keep them on guard.
So what we have here is she's not seeming very confident. She's not coming across very loud and very confident and bolshy, and she's very contained in herself and looking at the ground and not really engaging with the crowd. Now, what you really want to do as a performer is perform to your crowd in front of you. Now, let's give another bad example, maybe where you're not facing the crowd.
That's right, they call me Starz. Jump on the mic, spit the big bars. Jump on the mic and make them see stars and other MCs to keep them on guard.
So obviously, in this scenario, we would have a DJ behind us and Starz would be facing the DJ. She would be performing to the DJ. Now, of course, in turn, she has her back to the crowd, to the audience, which isn't very engaging. It's not very entertaining. So it's, again, not a great example of stage presence and stage performance. Let's go with a better example now.
Okay, so what I'm actually going to demonstrate now is that stage performance isn't just about how you look. It's also about how you sound. So I don't know if you noticed in those last two, I was quite muffled. I was quite quiet with how I was delivering my lyric. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform my lyric and I'm going to do it well, but I'm going to show you what it looks like when you don't have any physical stage presence. That's right, they call me Starz. Jump on the mic and spit the big bars. Jump on the mic and make them see stars and other MCs. I keep them on guard.
I could get into that because you were nice and loud, but again, weren't really performing to the audience, to the crowd. She was very reserved in herself. Her body language wasn't open, wasn't reflecting good stage presence and good performance. So, as a performer, what you want to do is perform and entertain your crowd. So let's give them the very best example right now.
Okay. That's right, they call me Starz. Jump on the mic and spit the big bars. Jump on the mic and make them see stars and other MCs. I keep them on guard.
Yeah, now that's a lot more, you can really get into it, you can see her moving, it makes you want to move with her, when you're seeing a performance like that, her body's moving, makes your body want to move as well, and that is the thing as entertainers, we are here to not only perform, but also entertain as well.
And it's also really important, especially if you're up on a stage, is to use your space. So at the moment, of course, we are currently in a studio setting, so we don't have a huge amount of space to demonstrate that. However, if you think about if you're on a huge stage, if your stage is 10 metres long, your performance is 10 metres long. If your stage is 20 metres long, your performance is 20 metres long. So you go from one end to the other and you stand in the middle and you go forward and you go backwards because you need to fill that space to keep your entire crowd engaged.
That's a great example as well, because you may well have seen people like, for example, Stormzy performing on stage at Glastonbury or some of these really big festivals where you may have seen videos of them performing and you'll see them running up and down the stage, left to right, left to right. Sometimes you may wonder why they're running around so much, but it's exactly for that reason, because when you have a stage, you need to fill it. If you're just one person on the stage by yourself, you will fill that stage. You need to fill that stage because that is your platform to perform on.
You want every single person in that crowd to be engaged with what you're doing. And it's very difficult to do that if you're standing right in the middle of the stage and you've got an expansive crowd in front of you. The only people you'll be keeping engaged is those people at the front if you stay in the middle.
100%. And of course, you know, you may have a front row which stretches all the way along. So if you just stand in one part of the stage, then it's only those people immediately in front of you that get the very best experience of watching your performance. Whereas when you're moving up and down, the people to the left, the people to the right, they can all get a close-up of how you perform. Now, the other thing is, it's not just about stage presence physically actually at venues, festivals, at nightclubs and stuff. It's also about the visual performance of online shows, you know, radio shows and stuff like that. So of course, sometimes, as Starz said, we have a small area we're in right now, but you can still fill that space. You can still fill the screen with your performance. You may well have seen on some radio shows, some MCs, lyricists, you know, they are very reserved in themselves. They don't move around too much. And sometimes it's difficult to engage with those people because they're just not really showing much energy. The more energy we give off, the more energy you can feel and you can respond to, you know.
And it takes it back to that word entertainment. At the end of the day, you're here trying to entertain people. So if you really, really want to keep their attention and keep them entertained, you have to do as much as you possibly can, not just vocally, but also physically.
Yeah, and to be honest, we are really speaking from experience. When we both started out as MCs, you know what, we were both very reserved. I remember I always used to hunch my shoulders up. I used to bring my arms in like this. When I look back at old videos of my old performances, I actually cringe. I really don't like them because I was so hunched up and I just don't like it at all. But and I remember I was given some advice. You need to loosen up. You need to loosen your body up, you know. Drop your shoulders, move your arms around, yeah? And all of this stuff really, really helps you to give the very best performance you can because you're loose, you're feeling it. It helps you to actually feel the music, feel the energy, and give the very best performance you can because you're loose and you can become fluid with the music and fluid with your lyrics and you can move around and get into it. And of course, that energy is then resonated with your audience.
It makes your audience feel comfortable, essentially. If you're rigid like this, your audience are going to be rigid. If you're loose and if you make it obvious that this is where you're meant to be, this is where your heart lies, people feed off that. You know, it's all about energy. The energy that you give off is the energy that you'll get back. Yeah.
If you're comfortable within yourself. So
exactly that.
That is stage craft and stage presence. Now we're going to talk to you about performing with other lyricists, other MCs, other rappers. We've been performing together for 14 years now, and so it's become second nature, really, just performing with each other, and we're very comfortable. However, sometimes we get put on set with other MCs that we don't actually know, or even if we do know them, maybe we haven't performed with them many times in the past. It's all about being accepting of being on set with another MC, another performer, because you don't want to hog the set just to yourself. You want to make sure that you're sharing the microphone and that you all get a chance to perform as well as you can.
I think as well it's very important to remember, as I said previously, this is entertainment. This is a show. So yes, of course, you want to make everybody know what you're about. But if you're performing with somebody else, whether it be the DJ or another MC or another few MCs, you're creating a show for your crowd. Those are the people that are important. So if you're really, really trying to make sure that your show is memorable, you have to work with everybody that you're on floor with. So if you're working with another MC, even if you've never worked with them before, it's important to communicate with them, make sure that you're not going over each other. And if you do, you know, it's fine, but bring it back and just make sure that you're working as a team rather than battling against each other, because that is what makes a good performance, is teamwork.
I mean, healthy competition can be good, of course, you know, of course. And we're all here to really show off what we do. But at the same time, eye contact with your fellow MCs is great. Even, you know, a quick whisper in the ear, you know, just saying, can I go next, or I'm going to go next. Also, if you get into a good habit of, say, for example, spitting a 32 bar or 16 bar, if we set the pace by each spitting a 16 bar, the other MC that we're on set with will most likely spit a 16 bar as well, and we will keep it moving like that. And it's a good way to show compatibility, working together.
And versatility.
Yeah. But most of all, as I said, eye contact and speaking with your fellow DJ or MC.
When you are performing with other people, I mean, you know, as Deeza said, we've been performing together for 14 years now. So we go as far as we don't even have to really talk to each other anymore. We can literally just give each other a look. And we know either, right, I'm going to come in next, or, right, I'm going to spit this specific combo lyric we've got, or, right, it's time to do a chant or something like that. We can just give each other a glance, and now we know that's how it works. Of course, that all comes with time and experience. There are certain things that you can do from the get-go, you know, like eye contact, like even raising your eyebrows to let the next person know that you want to jump in. Those are all things that you can do from day one, which will give you the communication skills and obviously the techniques to do a live performance and give a show, rather than it just being a bunch of artists on a stage together trying to chat over each other.
Yeah. And I mean, also down to something, you know, we've been on set with other people where they're overly confident, or maybe they're a little bit more confident than us. And they will stand at the front of the stage, they'll hold the microphone the whole time, and it's almost like they don't want to let us perform. But it's about showing your confidence, and as Starz said, you know, interacting and showing that you want to jump on next. So for example, maybe you just take one step forward, stand next to the MC that you're performing with, and let them know that you want to go next. It can be a very friendly scenario like that. You just step forward and step next to them. If you're not showing confidence and the other MC is very confident, then they may try to not pass you the mic. They may try to hog the performance, the show, because, you know, they really want to showcase themselves. So it's all about trying to show that you're willing to work together, but at the same time have enough confidence to stand forward and let them know, I'm here and I'm ready to perform. We've actually MC'd with quite a few other MCs before, where they sort of don't want to let us on, or, you know, especially with Starz being female. A few years ago, there was a few occasions where people might pass me the microphone, but they don't want to pass her the mic. You know, if I pass the microphone to her, they'll want to take the mic off her before she's even finished her bar, which obviously is very unfair and it's not professional.
And it's quite interesting, actually, as a female in this industry, you do have to work a little bit harder, and you do have to be that extra bit confident. So, you know, over the years, as Deeza's just quite rightly said, I've had many people try to take the mic off me or stop me from performing. But then I've flipped it round and I've jumped on anyway, and I've given my absolute best performance, and I've actually made those people step back and go, oh, okay, do your thing. So it's all about your own confidence in yourself and your belief in yourself. Don't worry about anyone else telling you you can't do this, you can't act like that, you can't. Do you know what? Believe in yourself. If you believe that what you are doing is good and you have that confidence behind you, people will see that and people will resonate with that.
It's all about confidence. A lot of everything in life comes down to confidence and showing you're willing to step up to the mark and do what you need to do to be successful. And that goes for any walk of life, really. Yeah. But especially in this music game, and especially as a female, Starz has been really up against it at points. She stood on stage as the only female, and there's been 5, 6, 7 men on stage, and she's held it up. You know, each time she's got the microphone, she's held it up, and she's performed just as well as every single man on stage, if not even better.
Oh, thanks.
So, you know, it's all about confidence, and it's all about showing that you're willing to do whatever it takes to really let people know that you're here and you're proud and you're going to show people what you're about.
And remember, the worst that can happen is you do something a little bit odd. No one's going to judge you, believe me. Believe me. They may judge you for 5 minutes of your life, but tomorrow, that was yesterday's story. So It doesn't matter. Do what you feel you need to do. And if you mess up, oh well, you're a human before you're anything else.
Of course, you get so many knockbacks in this game. The most important thing is you dust yourself off and you jump straight back on it.
Exactly.